retribution. Draw a line in the sand, we abuse it. This moment we own, and watch us prove it. We are released, the revolution. Let's go ignite, elements collide in a flash of light. And you feel the hope that means it's time. Light the fuse, bring the boom, dynamite. Let's go ignite, elements collide in a flash of light. And you feel the hope that means it's time. Light the fuse, bring the boom, dynamite. Let's live forever. Let's go ignite, elements collide in a flash of light. And you feel the hope that means it's time. Light the fuse, bring the boom, dynamite. Let's go ignite, elements collide in a flash of light. And you feel the hope that means it's time. Light the fuse, bring the boom, dynamite. Let's go ignite, elements collide in a flash of light. And you feel the hope that means it's time. Light the fuse, bring the boom, dynamite. Let's go ignite, elements collide in a flash of light. And you feel the hope that means it's time. Light the fuse, bring the boom, dynamite.
If you smell what the rock is cooking, the rock says, the rock says, the rock says, the rock.
I hear voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me.
Hello and welcome to the AEW Wrestling Talk Show with Rhys Jones and
John Smith. I was bringing our reactions to what was a crazy AEW All Out which from the in Hoffman State, Illinois, basically Chicago.
yes, and on top of the crazy amount of wrestling that we had spread over 10 matches, there were also three debuts / jumps from different companies / company.
And this was the first review to be held. Yeah, this was the first review to be held out since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic in March 2020.
Yes, and hopefully they won't need to go back there. Well, they'll probably go back there for a few episodes of Dynamite and Rampage, but not be stuck there. Anyway, we had 10 matches in total, one of which took place on the pre/buy-in show.
Yes.
And that was a 10-man tag team match.
Yes. A 10-man tag between the team of best friends of freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy, Chuck Taylor, Wheeler Yuta, and Jurassic Express, and Roy and Luchasaurus Robinson, defeated the Hardy Family Office of Matt Hardy, Big Man Matt Hardy, Private Party, and the Hybrid 2.
To be more precise, by submission.
Yes.
After Jungle Boy locked in the snare trap. Of course, a wrestler called Jungle Boy would have a jungle name for his move.
Of course. course. But now we move on to the main card.
The main show opened up with the TNT Championship match as Rusev, Miro,
That name was copyright.
defended the championship against Kofi Kingston. Eddie Kingston.
This match was around 13 minutes in length.
Yes, I don't. The way the Miro has been dominating AEW since becoming the TNT champion, I don't think anyone was really expecting a title change here.
No.
Because in the 4 months since winning the championship, he has gone through everyone, and I think the person who will take the title off him may have appeared either a few weeks before on an episode of Rampage, or may have appeared later on in the card, but we'll get to that.
Yes. Moving on to a match between AEW versus New Japan as John Moxley goes one-on-one with Satoshi Kajimura.
Now, Moxley has worked with several New Japan stars since making the jump from WWE to AEW. And I think that all of his matches with New Japan stars have been relatively good.
Yeah.
And I'm not surprised that after going on a bit of a hiatus due to Renee Paquette going and giving birth, and after having a bit of a losing streak to several opponents on pay-per-view, John Moxley is now back on the winning mentality after performing a Dirty Deeds, aka Paradigm Shift.
Onto Satoshi Kajimura to pick up the one.
However,
But
Moxley was confronted and attacked by yet another New Japan wrestler following the match.
in Minoru Suzuki, who confronted Moxley and pile-driven Moxley in the center of the ring.
Next, we had the AEW Women's Toy Championship.
As Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, puts the championship on the line against Chris Statlander.
Now, Baker had to have a few things going along in her mind here, because she not only not had to deal with Chris Statlander, she also had to wonder who her next challenger would be, which would be decided a little later on in the night.
Yes.
But following a 11.5-minute match,
Yes.
some back and forth action, it was Dr. Britt Baker who forced Chris Statlander to submit to the lockjaw to retain the AEW Women's Championship. Can I just say that, as a dentist, isn't Britt Baker supposed to protect the jaw?
That's apparently not in Dr. Britt Baker's case. Next, we move on to what many people say was the match of the night, as the Lucha Brothers challenged the Young Bucks of Matt Nick Jackson for the AEW World Tag Team titles inside a steel cage.
On the day of the actual All Out show. The Young Bucks had been tag team champions for 10 months, which some people would say that was a dead giveaway as to who would win this match. However, companies of a rarity have been known to have their champions hold titles for upwards of a year. Roman Reigns.
But anyway, the winners of the match after what was a brutal, bloody, violent cage match was...
The winners of this match were the Lucha Brothers.
That means they are now the new AEW World Tag Team Champions.
Yes, and they didn't do it by escaping the cage, they did it by performing the assisted pile driver onto Nick Jackson.
For the 1, 2, 3.
Now, it is now time for the Royal Rumble match. I mean, Casino Battle Royale.
21 women. So, 21 women would step into the ring, individually separated into groups.
Now, as has been the case with every Casino Battle Royale that AEW have done, these 21 women are separated into 5 categories, the 4 main ones being the 4 sets of cards on a standard set of playing cards with the clubs, diamonds, hearts and spades, which then leaves the Batman's greatest villain, aka the Joker.
No.
So, we'll start this by going through each the main 4 categories, starting with the clubs, and they were...
Okay, in the clubs, we have Akira Shida,
Sky Blue, Emi Sakura,
Emi Sakura,
the Bunny,
always known as Ali, and Abandon.
in the Diamonds Are Forever. We had Anna Jay.
We have the returning Anna Jay, 99 of Dark Order, Kira Hogan,
Kaylin King,
Diamante,
Nyla Rose,
and Thunder Rosa.
Thunder Rosa was in the Hearts category, but we also had in there Penelope Ford, former AEW Women's Champion Rio,
And Thunder Rosa.
and we also had
In the
Jamie Hayter, Big Slow, and then we got to the Spades, which had Ray Conti, Red Velvet,
we also had 4 AEW Women's World
Rhea Ripley,
We
Jade,
also had Jamie Hayter,
After
Big Swole was the last one of the Hearts.
an end of the spades, we go to Jay Conti, Red Velvet, Layla Haskell,
We had Red Velvet, Jade Cargill, and Rebel.
Yes, Rebel, who was just gotten involved in the Britt Baker title defense, was now fighting as a possibility to get the title match. But then the Joker shows up.
And it's a big one because it's a new signing.
Yes, the Joker, the artist formerly known as Ruby Riott.
Now going under the name of Ruby Soho.
So now that we have all of us, most of the women in the match, let's go through the order of elimination. First to go was Sky Blue.
Starting with
First to be eliminated was Sky Blue, and she was eliminated by Abdon. Then the person who eliminated Sky Blue in Abdon was eliminated by the Bunny.
who has had a lot of issues with certain superstars.
Third to be eliminated was Ima Sakura.
Then next to go was Jamie Hayter at the hands of Jade Cargill.
Then Kaylee Kin was eliminated by Nyla Rose. Sixth to go, also by Nyla Rose, was Kira Shida.
Then Riho was eliminated.
Then we saw the end of Dynamite.
Diamante were at the hands of Big Swole.
Ninth to go was Big Show at the hands of Jamie Hayter.
Rebel was then eliminated by Red Velvet.
Then the Bunny was eliminated by Anna Jay.
And those two had their issues building as of late.
Then Anna Jay was eliminated by Penelope Ford.
Then Layla Hirosh was eliminated by Jade Cargill.
Then Jamie Hayter was also eliminated by Jade Cargill.
Then
Red Velvet
by Jade Cargill. And then finally Jade Cargill gets eliminated by Nyla Rose.
Yes, then we have a few interesting women left in there. Penelope Ford was eliminated by Jay Conti.
And then Tana Conti herself was eliminated by Nyla Rose.
Yes. That then left Ruby Soho, Nyla Rose,
Thunder Rosa,
and Nyla Rose. Then 19th to go was Nyla Rose by
Thunder Rosa,
which left Thunder Rosa and Ruby Soho. And as
and Ruby Soho.
a big way to spring yourselves onto the scene in AEW. Glooby Soho eliminates Thunder Rosa to win the match and earn herself the chance to challenge for the AEW Women's Championship.
So that actually means that Ruby Soho is number one contender.
Not that she had much success when she challenged for the championship in another company.
Now we go on to a match for a rivalry that is really personal.
Yes, for the better part of this year and late last year, Chris Jericho and MJF have gone at it, with MJF joining the Inner Circle and then turning on the Inner Circle, and the two teams having a War Games match. I mean, Blood and Guts.
Excuse me? Blood and Guts match.
Everything that has happened over the past 7 months led to this match between Chris Jericho and MJF, which had the stipulation that if Chris Jericho lost, then he would be forced to retire from in-ring competition.
Yes, now this match was around 19 minutes in length.
Yes, and as we said last week, we were thinking along the lines of they may use this as a way to write Jericho off of TV so he could go and do something with Fonzie.
Yes, that's what we were thinking going into the match.
And maybe if the world wasn't stuck in a pandemic by the name of
COVID-19,
they might have done that. However, there was one move which I don't think Jericho has won a match with in a long time that made the difference.
And that was the Walls of Jericho.
Yes. It was time to break the walls down. Next
MJF by submission.
Next was a rare face versus face match.
Yes.
And the match ultimately was down to respect.
Yes.
As Darby Allin wanted to find out who the best in the world was, and he took on CM Punk.
CM Punk's first match inside a squared circle since 2014.
To be more precise, since January of 2014, and to be more precise than that, since the 2014 Royal Rumble match.
From a company that shall not be named.
So after
16 minutes.
After 16 minutes and 40 seconds, and a go to sleep, the winner of the match, CM Punk. But I mean, really, was there any question that CM Punk was going to lose his first match back in the company? Or back in wrestling? And after the match, there was a show of respect between the two.
Yeah,
now, before we go to the main event, there was just enough time for a squash match.
Yes, as Paul White, formerly known as the Big Show, in a company that should not be named, squashed QT Marshall.
Yes, after 3 minutes, chokeslam 1, 2, 3.
And thanks for coming, move on to the next match.
Now, the main event of All Out was Kenny Omega defending the AEW World Championship against Christian Cage.
the Impact World Champion.
Now this was a 21 and
Minute match.
that's slightly over. And I don't. This was a bit of a brawl. Due to this match was semi-predictable, due to the fact that Christian had defeated Kenny Omega to win the Impact Championship to start with.
Let's cut the long story short.
But it took a one-winged angel, not from its usual position, but from the top rope, to keep Christian down to retain the match. Now,
Retain the championship and win the match.
yes, and despite this, however, Kenny Omega was celebrating with Don Callis, and despite losing the tag team championships, the Young Bucks and the Impact Tag Team Champions, the Good Brothers.
And they were basically beating down Christian, but then Jurassic Express tried to come down and say, but they too got laid out.
And this is where things got a little bit interesting.
Yes, because Kenny Omega was on the mic basically saying, there's not another superstar, alive or dead, that can beat me.
When out came Mr. Baker.
In other words,
Adam Cole, baby.
Yes, Adam Cole comes down to into a thunderous pop, and he enters the ring, does his Adam Cole payday thing, only to Super King join the
and join up with the Elite once again. However, and we mentioned that this was rumoured to happen last week, they were then interrupted by the leader of the Yes movement, traitor movement, Daniel Bryan, or as he is now being called, Bryan Danielson.
Come down to the ring, and with the help of Christian Cage and the Jurassic Express, they laid out and scurried the Elite out of the ring.
Blood and guts match, anyone?
Possibly, yes. So
that ended a crazy All Out pay-per-view.
So I'll run you through the card one more time.
Buy-in / pre-show match. Best Friends and Jurassic Express defeated the Hardy Family Office.
Miro retained his TNT Championship against Eddie Kingston.
John Moxley defeated New Japan star
Tatsushi Kojimura.
Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, retained the AEW Women's Championship by defeating Chris Statlander.
The Lucha Brothers beat the Young Bucks for the AEW World Tag Team titles inside a steel cage to become the new AEW World Tag Team Champions.
Ruby Soho won a 21-woman casino battle royal by lastly eliminating Thunder Rosa to earn a future shot at the AEW Women's World Championship.
Chris Jericho defeated MJF by submission. If Jericho had lost, he would have been forced to retire in ring competition in AEW.
CM Punk defeated Darby Allin.
Paul White squashed QT Marshall.
And Kenny Omega retained the AEW World Championship by defeating Christian Cage.
So that brings an end to AEW All Out 2021.
And now the build can slowly start for the next pay-per-view, which takes place in just over 2 months. And that would be
Yes.
AEW Full Gear. But in about 2 weeks' time, we once again switch companies.
Yes. So join us for that. Until then, he's been
Reach Jones, and he's been
Schultzman, and we will see you in 2 weeks.